Questions? Mark?
Thank you, Chris. I think one of the themes of this is new tools for malaria prevention. And we talked about new tools in drugs and new tools in vaccines. We didn't talk about new tools in nets. And one of the themes that went through this was the threat of resistance. And when we switched from resistant malaria drugs, antidote-chloroquine, to ACTs, that was chaotic. And I contributed that. I was a drug person malaria global fund at the time. And is there something we can do to plan for this expected transition to some kind of combination or multiple resistant net?
Maybe David could start by talking about some of the challenges of changing to new drugs, and then Ray, if you want to add anything about the nets after that.
Okay, I think one may follow the other to some extent, because we need to look at effectively new ways of blocking the parasite, so new targets, etc. And I think if you're looking at resistance, be it with vector control, with drugs, etc., you're probably looking at a very similar approach in many ways of looking at different mechanisms, different compounds, etc. The use of combination therapies has been absolutely critical here, because in terms of drugs, if you can target at a number of different sites, and we've seen it not only in malaria but in the treatment of other diseases, etc., you can lessen the chances of resistance. So perhaps using multiple different agents is one option, but regardless of this, we need new types of agents, so the research needs to continue.
Ray, do you want to comment on that?
As I mentioned before, Mark, we're seeing some resistance to the insecticide on the nets in a limited area of Zambia. Consulting with our entomologists and scientists, their suggestion was that we make sure that we use different insecticides for indoor residual spraying than we're using on the nets currently. And I think it's going to take, as David said, almost a planned rotation of the use of insecticides, both on nets and in indoor residual spraying, to anticipate what might happen. The net manufacturers are doing nothing at this time to change the insecticide on the nets. I think that's something that's going to have to be faced over the next several years. We've had a strong core of African leaders pleading with us to allow them to use DDT sprayed from airplanes. And we've done some research, and resistance has cropped up again. We learned that in Ethiopia, that if we did allow the widespread use of DDT, mosquitoes would be almost 98% resistant to it because of the overuse of DDT for agricultural purposes. So I think as we move forward, everybody has to be more mindful and aware that we're likely to develop more resistance, much like you rotate the soil for crops. I think we're going to have to do more of that in regard to insecticides.